What's up, 2030 family? Just wanted to give you a very quick recap on our core team meeting that we just had last week. If you were there, this is going to be a review. If you were not there, oh, shame on you. No, I'm all kidding aside. But seriously, if you weren't there, one of the most important pieces that you missed is Moe's food. I mean, we had catered Moe's Mexican. Welcome to Moe's! Anyway, listen, I wanted to give you a quick recap on what happened. We did eat together. We always hang out. We love on each other, and we had a great chance of community. But I just want to share really quickly what happened there, because I want you to make sure that you're still in the loop about what's happening. One of the biggest scriptures that has been sending out to me for 2030, and maybe just my life personally as a whole, I shared last week, which is from Habakkuk 1:5. So it's chapter 1, verse 5, and he actually, the prophet, goes to God, asks a question, and this is, quote, what God responds to him. And I feel as if we were to write this down, pray on it, hang out with it, meditate on it, man, this is almost our answer to what God's going to be doing in our generation, to us and through us as a family and as individuals. So I want to share that with you so that you can meditate on it, hang out with it, get a tattoo, whatever you need to do just to see and elevate your faith and how big God is in your life. And so, as you know, we're still praying that God would bless 2030 in amazing ways, not just with community, not just with people, not just with life change, but really just God radically changing our lives so that we could be an example of Jesus wherever we are, in our families, in our workplaces, out in the city. So here it is, Habakkuk 1:5. Look among the nations. This is God speaking. Look among the nations and see. I want you just to get your eyes open, the eyes of your heart and the eyes on top of your head, and see. And then two things will happen when you see what God's doing. It says, wonder and be astounded. Wonder, look and see, wonder and be astounded. God says, for I am doing a work in your days. A work in your days, linking it together, past, present, and future. I'm doing a work right now in your generation, in your family, in the family of 2030, and in your life, that if I told you, you would not believe. You would not believe if told. Someone would come to you and say, man, what if this happened? What if that happened? Imagine if this happened in your life as a family. What if God brought in 1,000 people this year, or within 2 years, within 5 years? What about this life change? What about this answer to prayer? What about this and this and this? You wouldn't believe if God told you. So just wonder, look, wonder, and be astounded. That was really just the encompassing view and the idea that I just really wanted to get across to you, not just on our core team meeting, but as a family as a whole. So just quickly, a couple points that we talked about. One was the definition of a core team. So a lot of questions have been coming in amongst the core team. Who's going to be invited? How do you know that you're really on the core team? Or what's the prerequisite? Or what do you need to do to get in? Whatever the case may be, that's the question. Who is on it? And really, what's the definition of someone being on our core team here at Grace Church? So let me just answer two of those, the who and the why. The who on the core team meeting is this. It's anyone willing to serve, willing to give their life away, willing to lay it down, willing to say, God, I want you to give it all. I want you to do what you need to do in my life so I can live out your calling wherever it is, be in community at 2030 and give back. So if God has given you a little bit, then start giving a little bit back to the core team. That's the only thing that we're asking for the who to be a part of it. There's no leadership title on it. There's no prerequisite. There is nothing that you have to qualify to get in there for, because Jesus went to the multitudes and said, man, if you want to follow me, you want to be my disciple, then here's what I want you to do. Give up your life, surrender everything, and just follow me. There is no prerequisite that he gave his people, and so we want to do the same. So the why is this very reason. God has placed gifts inside of you. He has played talents and passions and burdens that really just stir you up. But those are straight from heaven, straight from God's heart to your life. So the why under the core team is this idea. God has given you things, and there shouldn't be any kind of loop or qualification or hurdles that you have to jump in order to use the gift in which God gave you for free. So the who is anybody willing to serve, and the why is because God's given you good things, so you need to be good stewards of them and give them away. Start using them, practicing them. And so anyway, the next thing that we talked about was really a confession from me. And so last year, here was the confession. I just wanted to clear the slate, apologize to you guys, and say last year I asked you guys to really follow me in what I was doing with 2030. And I just have to say that's not what I want you guys to do. I want you to follow me as I follow Jesus. Yes, just as 1 Corinthians 11:1 says, and Paul declares, I love that scripture. And I want you to follow me as I follow Jesus. But here's the thing, I don't want you to follow me as I lead 2030. There's a big difference between that. I want you to follow me, but listen, but please don't wait for me. I think the idea is that Ryan or any of the leaders haven't really asked me to do anything in particular, or to go fill that role, to go do this, or go serve that person, or go talk to here and go fill that gap. And I don't care what it is. If God has placed an idea inside of you, we need to allow freedom for you to succeed and also to fail. It is time. Let me just say, right straight to your heart, straight to your eyes, it is time for you to be ready to step up, to take the initiative, and to start practicing the great gifts and passions that God has given you. You have so much to offer other people. It's just time for you to open up and confirm your identity with Jesus. So it doesn't matter what other people think. You just step out and do what you're called to do. And so that's why our culture around 2030 is one that we want you to practice at. We want you to practice being good and maybe even failing a little bit at what God's given you. Step out, take a risk, be just bold in your faith to say, man, I think I'm going to do this. I've never done it before. It may be scary, but you need to do it. So that's my confession, and that's also my ploy for you. And so here's what I was thinking. There may be some things inside of you you're thinking, okay, what are my passions? What are my gifts? What am I designed to do? And so let me ask you a few questions, maybe just to stir that answer up in you. Here they are. Who has God called me to be? Like, just really think about, how am I different from anybody else? What are my unique giftings? Maybe I'm good at this, maybe I'm good at that, but what are my unique giftings? Let me just give you an insight on this, which is your unique gifting always has to do with your relationship with other people. It doesn't matter your personality. It always has to do with how you interact with other people. So look at how you do that. How do you bring people better? How do you serve people? How do you talk with them? It doesn't matter if you're an introvert, what your personality is. What's your unique gifting? Another question, what am I passionate about? What has God put in me that I wholeheartedly desire for God to do through me? What's the burden that I have every week to do? What would you love to share? Like, you just can't wait to share this with someone. What is that? What is it that God is doing in me that you just have to give to other people? Think about those questions, and that's going to help you get back to the design, the calling, and really just the role that God's called you to. Lastly is the culture. And under the culture category, here's really the three things that I want to share is community. One is just relationships. I want people to be so loving, so served, and so welcomed that they can't help but being drawn near to a God who orchestrates a family that is so unified and so tight that they love hanging out on Wednesday nights and outside of that. The second is worship. Worship, here's what I would love to have. This is my dream, this is my imagination, is for people to come in and be absolutely scared of what they see people doing in worship. Scared because it's so raw, so authentic, so real, so passionate, yet they're attracted to it. They are so compelled to it. The third thing is the message. I want people to come in here and be absolutely scared of the message that we're asking them to go. Because I think Jesus did the same thing. They think, man, that is way too much. You're asking way too much. I want people to be scared and almost think, man, this is way too risky. Yet be compelled and say, I have to do this. This is what I'm made for. This is what the heart's desire is. So if you're a core team member and you're getting this video, thank you guys so much. I just want to say I love you. I appreciate you. Been praying for you. And so here's what I want you to leave with. Answer those questions, but really just in your prayer time, I want you to think about this. I want you to ask God this. What do you want me to do? Ask God, what do you want me to do inside of 2030? Not what role do you want me to take? Not what responsibility you want me to pick up, not what gap do you want me to fill. I don't want you to be limited. I want you to ask the big, broad, awesome, risky, audacious question, what do you want me to do inside the family of 2030? So think about it, pray about it, and then let's do this together. Let's see 1,000 people come to 2030. Let's see Moore County change. Let's shift the atmosphere. Let's raise up young adults. Let's allow life change to happen in and through us. Let's see the nations be awed and astounded and wonder about the work that God